Let's talk about the number one thing you're likely doing in your relationships with other people that creates conflict and the simple way to fix that. Welcome to Unbothered Energy Weekly. I'm Crystal and I'm so glad that you're here. And understand that if you're seeing this message, something in it is for you. It's no coincidence. So today I'm continuing my series on my favorite book, Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements, and I am on the third agreement. The third agreement really beautifully integrates with the first two agreements. The first agreement being be impeccable with your word, and the second agreement, which is don't take anything personally. So when you really start to implement both of those into your life, you can easily take on this third agreement. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. Now, we're all guilty of making assumptions. We assume we know what others think or feel, and we assume that based on hearsay or secondhand accounts, we know what's going on. Probably the biggest assumption that we make is that we believe everyone sees and experiences life in the world the same way that we do, and that's simply just not true. We all have our own unique paths, and all of that is determined by our domestication and the perspective and the glasses that we're all looking through. And everybody's is different. If people tell us things, we make assumptions. If people don't tell us things, we make assumptions. And we make assumptions because we have this need to know. We need to fulfill that. The truth is, us humans, we are very curious creatures and we need answers. And so we create these answers by making assumptions. And in order to feel safe and in control, we have to know. So when we don't know, we make up our own answers. I'm going to bet that the worst fights or issues you've ever had with any relationship in your life was because one or both of you made assumptions, and that caused a lot of harm. You know how that old saying goes? When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. ASSUME. There are a few keys to honoring the third agreement. Number one, communication, aka be impeccable with your word. Mean what you say what you mean, ask questions, and communicate your needs to others. Don't expect anyone to read your mind. Sometimes that means having really hard conversations. Be emotionally mature enough to communicate. Number two, recognize that it's okay to not know sometimes, especially when it comes to things that you're not experiencing firsthand. Don't make up what you perceive to be the most probable answer and then run with that and gossip and create emotional poison. Recognize that you don't always have to know, and that's okay. Normalize saying things like, I'm not really sure. I wasn't there. I'm not privy to that. I don't know that person, or whatever. I lost a friend once because she assumed that I was upset over a decision that she made. And that simply just wasn't the truth at all. And even though I never once communicated that I had any issue, she made the assumption that she knew how I felt and what I was thinking. And she started to avoid me. And before long, we weren't really friends anymore. And she told many other people about the assumptions that she was making about how I was thinking or feeling, but she never tried to speak to me directly about it. Now, this really highlighted the third agreement for me. And it was a hard lesson in understanding that communication is really important, and who you surround yourself with and whether they're at that level of hard, open, and honest communication really makes a difference. I really started to examine my own life and how I was showing up when I was making assumptions and in what ways I was spreading emotional poison instead of confronting things head on. So this week, I challenge you to really examine where in your life you make a lot of assumptions. Do you form beliefs and opinions without proper communication or information? Do you punish those around you because you just assume they should know how you're thinking or feeling and what you need? Are you using your voice to communicate, ask questions, and share what it is that you have inside? So once again, I'm going to pull a card from the Four Agreements deck. I pulled out all the cards for Don't Make Assumptions, and we're going to let the universe speak to us and what we need to know through the cards. So what does it say? Speak openly and honestly. When you speak openly and honestly, you won't have to make assumptions. The day you stop making assumptions, you will communicate clearly and achieve impeccability with your word. Until next week.